The following is paid programming.
It's time to talk taxes.
New friends, new opportunities, new partners. EG Tax.
It's Ask the Tax Lady with Esther Gulius and EG Tax on News Radio 930 WBEN. To reach Esther now, call 803-0930. Toll free at 1-800-616-9236. And cell calls are free at star 930. And now, live from the WBEN studios, it's Esther Gulius.
Hey everybody, this is the Tax Lady, and we're here to talk about taxes and your money. Even though this is not officially tax season, every day is tax day because we're creating next year's tax return as we go, and we want to give you good information. And I will tell you, today is no exception. We don't have a special guest this week because we're going to talk about credit issues, if you owe money, how to fix your credit, if you owe the IRS money, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So if you know anybody that's having credit issues, if you're having credit issues, you want to get a pen and pencil. And by the way, if you have a credit story to tell, something that's happened to your credit, maybe you've fallen victim to some of these phone calls that people make. I think I got 12 of them yesterday, where somebody's saying, we have this, we want to help you with your credit card. We are the Internal Revenue Service. We're seizing your bank account. If that's happened to you, give us a call, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone, and you can text us at 3930. And I'm joined in studio with Tiffany Fabian. Hey, Tiff.
Hey there, Esther. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday and a sunny Saturday. And Chris Fabian. Hey, Chris.
Hello.
Well,
It would
you
help
sound-
if I had my
Yeah, I was
mic
gonna
on.
say, man,
Hello,
it sounds like
Lester.
You're on the other side of the world. But I will tell you, we wanted to do this on credit because it really, credit affects everybody, right?
It does.
But before we get to that, we are having our upcoming workshop for people that are having children getting ready for college. They're wondering about FAFSA forms, tuition, all that kind of stuff. We call it ABC, right?
Yep. It's all about college. It's August 17th from 10 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon. And it's a great event. We're having one-on-one sessions where you get to meet people and talk to them about financial aid, FAFSAs, paying for college, how to afford
We're gonna do
college.
the thing on all the college credits, the Empire State College
Yeah.
credit, the
AOTC,
federal lifetime learning credit, and
New York, the New York
American
credits.
Opportunity Tax Credit.
Yep.
So all of that's going to be dealt with too, but it is going to be a great opportunity. There's no charge. This is just something that we do for the community because we want, when you think of anything financial, we hope you think about EG Tax. Not that we don't sell anything, but we give away all of our knowledge. We don't sell anything. The only thing we do is we prepare and help you with your taxes. But because taxes are so complicated and because they affect pretty much every aspect of your life, we know a whole bunch about a lot of stuff, and this way we can point you in a right direction to be with that right professional that can help you no matter what your situation is.
I know I'm sort of jumping the gun here, but I was meeting with somebody the other day about an offer and compromise. And before I sit with somebody for an offer and compromise, I always review the returns that the IRS is trying to collect on. And so this gentleman owed, I'll say $80,000. And so for the 1 year, I noticed I amended his return and I got him back $27,000. Can't get the wax out of your ear. That's right, $27,000.
What was wrong? What
Then I
happened?
amended another year and got him $34,000 back. So that's 34, 44, 54, about $60,000. So he took lots of money out of his 401k or his IRA, and the CPA that he went to charged him not only tax on the money, but an early withdrawal penalty. And the truth is, he was over the age of 55. He was a little bit over 55. There's an exception to penalty if you're over the age of 55 and you're retired. And so that was the exception that I used. So he walked away $60,000 better, and he was almost crying.
Without doing the offer and compromise.
Without doing
right?
it. And we might do the offer for New York because there is no 10% early withdrawal penalty for New York. And so he's in a world of hurt for New York. And so just stories like that resonate.
And so the thing is, it's always good to get that second look, especially if you had something really where you owe a bunch of money. And so that's why when we were talking today about credit issues, and of course, by the way, before we leave this subject, if you're somebody that has somebody in college, you're interested in coming to the workshop, you can go to our website at egtax.com and register for the ABC seminar workshop. That's going to be held in August, right?
Right. And, talking about what we're going to talk about today is credit, but going back to our workshop, we know a couple people who their kids couldn't go to the college they wanted to because the parents couldn't get the Parent Plus loans because of bad credit. So,
and which is exactly true.
I didn't know that was tied to your credit.
Oh, yeah.
The Parent
Plus loans.
I'm thinking the Empire. I'm thinking the New York where they'll pay for your college. I'm sorry.
Right.
Okay. So you mentioned it a little while ago, Tiff, an offer and compromise. So as we're getting into credit issues, which is so important as to how you can pay off if you owe the IRS money, and an extension deadline's coming up here in October. What is an offer and compromise? Who qualifies for an offer and compromise? Who should look into it, and do we do that?
Yeah, well, we do offers and compromises, and I'm the one that heads up the department. I think I just have a heart to help people, and it's really, when you hear those commercials paying pennies on the dollars, that's what we do, but we do it for a fraction of those national companies. And I got to tell you, so many times I hear the stories of people, the national companies, they'll give them money and they don't do anything, which just breaks my heart. So when you owe 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 more to the IRS, we compose, we put all your assets together, we put a financial summary together, and then we present to the IRS, well, instead of giving you $90,000, which is what we owe you, we're going to offer you $1,800. And there's a financial calculation.
Based upon their income, right?
Based upon their income and their ability to collect. Now, there's some people that own a house and they have lots of equity in the house, and that might not be a good fit for them. Although sometimes I've had them go out and try to get a home equity. They're denied, and so we have that in our back pocket to use as ammunition, if you will, to say, but still I'm a candidate for an offer and compromise because my credit is so bad I couldn't get a home equity. Although, so an offer and compromise is really for those people who are in a world of hurt.
If you owe money to the federal and the state and you do not have the ability to pay, and they're doing a garnishment, they're yelling at you, they're taking
your license is
money
lost
out of your checking and savings account, and you just sit there and do nothing, then you are really doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah. And another thing that I do for a lot of my clients who come in for an offer and compromise, they might not be a candidate for that, but there's something called an uncollectible status. And so we've moved them into an uncollectible status. And the person that I'm thinking about, they went to one of those big national firms and they took their money, but they didn't even tell them about the option of a non-collectible status. And then another one of my clients, I didn't think he was a candidate for an offer and compromise, but you, Esther, brag all the time about Pentagon Federal Credit Union. Well, they have a personal loan where you can actually take all your credit card debt, and the personal loan is like 6 or 7%.
So Pentagon Federal Credit Union offers personal loans.
Yep, for consolidating all your credit card debt, and you get a loan and you consolidate. You could pay off the IRS, you could pay off your credit card debt, and that'll help you. So there's avenues, and there's another avenue, but I don't want to get ahead of myself.
And that's the whole thing. It's just like if you find something that in your body that isn't right, and you think, I better go to the doctor, right? Mm-hmm. When something happens to you financially, that's something you need to do. You got to go to get a professional, and that's part of what EG Tax does, is that we are the professional to help you. And if we can't do it, if this is not our field of expertise, we'll recommend you going to somebody that we have a relationship with, who we've seen time and time again do quality work and help people. And that's part of what we do. We're kind of like on your team, if you might if you think about it.
Yeah.
You have a team member that wants to help you. I'm Esther Gulius, the tax lady from EG Tax. 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. You can text your questions to 3930, and we're going to spend the rest of the hour talking about how to fix your credit. If you've been somebody that has fallen victim to a bad credit situation, whether you've fixed it or you haven't fixed it, give us a call so we can talk about your credit situation. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with your questions on the other side. Hey, that's Fixing Your Credit music, Frank. And I'm Esther Gulius, the tax lady from EG Tax. And I'm joined in studio with Chris Fabian, Tiffany Fabian. Our phone number here in studio, if you want to become part of the show, is 8030930. 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone, and you can text us at 3930. And our focus today is your credit. Who's been bothering you? Have you even looked at your credit? Do you think it's important to look at your credit? You know, there could be somebody out there living large on your credit cards or your reputation, your credit reputation, and you don't even know it. Yesterday, I think I got like 10 phone calls from different bogus phone calls. One in particular that I really enjoyed, because now I'm enjoying these, because I figure if I'm going to play the game with them, because sometimes it takes 10 minutes. I let them transfer me to each department. Then just before, they think they got me, I say, now we've spent 10 minutes together. Now, isn't this great? Because now you can't do this to somebody else.
Yeah.
And they yell at you and hang up the phone. Yesterday, I had somebody that called and said that they wanted to make sure that my credit card was secure. And they're calling from, I don't know what credit card company, and they said, what's your expiration date? So I made up an expiration date. And then they said, and what's your credit card number? And I said, well, you should know my credit card number because you're calling me from the credit card company. Oh, well, our policy is that we have to know your full number. Now, had I been stupid and given them my full credit card number and my expiration date, guess what they would have done?
They would have stolen
used
it.
my credit.
Yep, confiscated it and used it.
I mean, it's just horrible. You really have to have your wits about you, especially in the society that we have. There, so many things are done electronically. You don't know who you're dealing with.
Yep. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, that's what I said to him. I said, "What?" He said, "We want to know who you are." And I said, "Well, I want to know who you are." Anyway, I'm Esther Gulius, the tax lady. 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. Text us at 3930 if you have any horror stories regarding your credit. Now, why is credit important, Chris? You just said something going back to college.
Yep.
About people can't get Parent Plus loans.
Right, your children's education. Who would think that would even come into play? But with the high cost of colleges nowadays, and
they get their money.
Yep, and children can only get student loans like for a freshman year of $5,500. That leaves a lot of room where kids need extra money for their college, for room and board, and the only other way to do it is Parent Plus loans. And if the parents have bad credit, they're not going to get the loans for their kids.
Now, here's something to encourage you, though. If you're having credit issues right now, this is so that you don't think, oh, I don't want to hear this because you're talking right to me. You can improve your credit score, but it requires you to do something. So it's not going to fix itself necessarily. It could if it took enough time and you started paying your bills on time. But if you set a plan, you can improve your credit score, which is really important for things like Parent Plus. Employment. Do you know that many employers, before they hire you, they take a look at your credit score? They want to see if you're trustworthy.
Yep, it tells you a lot about a person. If they, pay their bills, if they're diligent, if they are good with details and big details, and
can they be trusted with money, right? Utility companies, if you want to turn on utilities, they take a look at your credit and they determine how much of a
security deposit they're going to make you pay based upon your credit. Landlords, property management companies, they often run your credit to make sure that you're credit worthy. Insurance. Yeah, that's one a lot of people don't realize. Your homeowners and your car insurance, they look at your credit. to
Right.
determine. Because if you have bad credit, you're not going to take care of your house or your cars, is what they think. So they're going to charge
they
you.
think that the odds are,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And then, of course, just plain old lending. I have to say, thank God we have good credit because we are able to negotiate some really great rates for the banks because the banks want to do business
With somebody who's
with
gonna
me,
pay 'em back.
the other day I bought a used car because buying a new car is not a good deal. I bought a used car and of course Pentagon Credit Union was like 3.65%, and this dealer wanted to have me finance through them, and I said, well, 365 is what I get on a used car, and they worked and they got it. They got it.
But it was something that
because
you wouldn't have gotten.
because I was a credit worthy person, and that's something your credit you guys know, right? I really watch my credit.
Oh yeah, you really, really do. I mean, you'll pull down a report, you'll look at your reports.
Well, and that's the thing. When is the last time you did your own credit report? And you can go. There's Credit Karma. I think freecreditreport.com is another one that offers free credit. If anybody else knows of another one that offers free credit, but you should take a look at your credit report, and then if you find something on your credit report that isn't right, you should protest it.
Yeah, and something good to know is creditkarma.com. That's not a ding against your credit. Whereas if you pull your credit report, I think more than 3 times, that's something that is not good for your credit. But if you go to Credit Karma, that doesn't hurt your report at all.
Well, actually, as long as it's not a lender, if the lender's pulling credit on you, but you can pull your own credit and take a look at it. As a matter of fact, I did pull my credit about a month ago, and I had a 30-day late. Well, we have all kinds of car loans because for the company, and 2 of them were with Ford Motor Company, and they took the payment and posted it incorrectly. So we called them up, and I had no idea that they had posted it incorrectly. Yeah. And so we said, gee, here we can see that this is, when the payment came in, they said, oh, we're terribly sorry, and they fixed it. And the thing is, they fixed the credit report. So it's really, really important that you pull your credit report.
Right, and anything on there, you can fight a late payment.
Well, it's not even fighting. You're protesting, right?
Right. Yep.
I mean, it's not like you got to go to war, because a lot of people think that this is a really hard thing to do. It's really not. It's really just being proactive with your own finances, and it's just so important. Mm-hmm. Right?
And somebody told me one time that when you protest them, a lot of times the credit card companies don't have the information to substantiate it, so they just fold. It's just a matter of you submitting the information,
That's true. Absolutely true.
Yeah.
So, so how is your credit calculated? Well, the amount of money you owe compared to your total credit that you have is one of the criteria that they have. So if your available credit, for instance, is $20,000 and you're only using $2,000 of it, that would be a positive thing on your credit report.
Yep. They want to make sure you're not being maxed out on what available credit you have.
And here's the thing: if you got $20,000 available, but you're only using $2,000, it looks like, gee, maybe they aren't in financial trouble, right?
Yep.
Because you're not running it right up to the rim.
Maximum.
Right? Your residence history. Are you bouncing around from place to place to place to place? That's part of something that your credit is based upon. Are you stable in your home life?
Right. That's right. Yeah, because that
and then banking information. Do you have a checking and savings account? That's another positive thing. So if you don't have a checking account, I know it's hard to believe that some people don't have checking accounts, but some people don't. And why don't they? Because they owe the bank money.
Yeah, they owe the bank money, or they owe the IRS money, or they owe New York State money, or they owe child support money. And
but
so
many times they won't open up a bank account because the bank won't open it because they have an outstanding, maybe bad check fees. Mm-hmm. And again, this all comes down to deciding to do the positive thing that may be uncomfortable, but not dealing with it is more uncomfortable, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep. No hiding behind a rock, sticking your hand in the sand.
Head in the sand. Yeah.
And then the other thing, another criteria is the length of your credit history. The longer your credit history, the better. So that must be another good thing.
Yeah,
for me,
I
the
know.
long credit
I know.
history.
My 19-year-old daughter. She tried to get a credit card not so long ago because you want to establish credit, and she was denied because she had no credit history. But then I filled out an application for all those little ones that come in the mail, like Discover, who know that they're young kids and they know what situation they are in life, and she was approved for that credit card. But when you're young, you're just starting off and you have no credit history,
But again, you just have to walk before you run, right?
That's right.
But the important thing is that it's like building a house. You start with a solid foundation. The other thing is the overall credit mix that you have. In other words, if you have all credit cards, that criteria can work against you. But if you have some credit cards, some auto loans, some home mortgage, that's a balance, and they look at that positively too. I'm Esther Gulias, the tax lady from EG Tax, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. You can text us at 3930. We're going to be with you on the other side of the news. I'm Esther Gulias, the tax lady from EG Tax, and we're talking about offers and compromise. We're talking about improving your credit, the reason why you need good credit, what to do if you're having credit issues. And the thing is, the bottom line is, it's just like anything. It's like being fat. You got to lose weight. No pain, no gain, And EG Tax will help you with this too. I mean, if you are having credit issues, if you need help pulling your credit report, you can come in this time of year. We'd be very happy to help you pull your credit report and go over everything item by item and help you to determine how to improve your overall credit.
Yep. You were helping somebody the other day do a budget, right, Chris? Right?
Yep. I mean, it's the nasty B word that nobody likes to do, but it's a necessity to figure out what's going on and how to help. Because we're talking about credit and credit cards, and a lot of these credit cards now say, "Oh, we'll give you 13.99%," and then in the very fine print, if you're 1 day late, your interest rate goes up to 29%.
Yeah.
I mean, and how they're hidden, they just raise your interest rate, and people don't realize you really have to look at your credit.
And that is one of the last things about how your credit scores are calculated. And this is the obvious one. You just alluded to it. Do you pay on time? And if you are having trouble making your payments on time, maybe it's just a simple way of how you handle your bills when they come in. I've seen people just have a box and they kind of throw the bill in the box, and then at some random time during the month they open up the bills to see what they are. I mean, I would tell you that's not the best way to do it. I would suggest that you open up your bills right away and see when the due date of that bill is, so that you can get the payment in before the due date, because this is very important in calculating your credit,
right.
your credit history.
Yeah, it may be as simple as calling your credit card and say, "Hey, instead of having my due date on the 23rd of the month, can I have it on the 2nd of the month?"
Right.
Just switch the moving.
Because this is how I get paid.
Right.
And they will do it. I mean, obviously they're not going to move it from the 2nd to the 15th back to the 13th. You got to make the payment at some time. But the important thing is, it's just like anything. It's a change of your mind where you would say, "I need to do this," because you are paying, like Chris was talking about, over 25% many times, because the credit cards are too high. And looking at ways to getting those those payments down, getting that balance down, getting the principal down, the principal down. Many times people have it right there and sitting in front of them, but it's like a deer caught in the headlights. They can't do anything about it. They become like catatonic regarding their credit.
Another B word that people don't like to hear is bankruptcy. And how many people have we counseled that are so far behind, their credit is destroyed, and they're like, you should file bankruptcy.
That's correct.
And they're like, I can't file bankruptcy. That's really bad on my credit. But their credit is already bad. And they don't realize that bankruptcy can help them rebuild their credit.
That's exactly right. Many times I say to people, it's like dragging around a dead body, and it's attached to your ankle, and until you take it off of your ankle, it's not going to get better. Because every month, unless you're going to have a windfall, this debt comes with you, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And you have to realistically say, I can pay it or I can't pay it. And so if you truly can't pay it, bankruptcy is a protection afforded you in the law. It really goes right back to the Bible. And you can actually eliminate your debt. Now, obviously, you should learn some lessons so that you can build your credit. But many people that have filed bankruptcy, after the bankruptcy, they say that's one of the best things I ever did.
Yeah, you said something really true, and I've used this so many times with clients. We don't live in a country where there's a debtor's prison. I mean, there's means and options for people who are over their head, and it's a great opportunity.
Right. Hey, Chris, have you ever seen a banking situation that you were able to solve, or a banking situation that should have never have happened?
Oh, well, you look at, just a simple, you bounced a check or you used a debit card, and look at that. You check your banking account, especially with online banking. Check your bank accounts, because a bank can hit you with a $39.50 fee every time you're overdrawn. So, and it may be, you can call your bank and say, wait a minute, I had a deposit. You held on to it for 3 days instead of 2 days. And they'll reverse those charges. There's a lot of things you can do to help yourself, but you got to take that step to call and to fight or protest what you see is wrong.
Well, I think even B of A, didn't you struggle with getting some security things when you're opening up a new account at B of A, or no?
Right. Well, yeah, opening up an account at certain banks are really hard for businesses, but no personal feelings there.
You know why? It just goes back to the type of society we have right now. There is so much fraud going on. The bank is really being very protective, because they want to make sure that they're dealing with the right person, that they're not dealing with a scam artist.
Yeah.
I mean, you can find out a lot of information about somebody online and set up a fraudulent account. And that's why checking your credit is so important, to make sure when you look at your credit cards, you say, well, I don't have a Chase bank account. How can that be? That could be somebody else that took your information, and that card's payment being sent to them, to another address.
Yeah, and I know we have Mark and Rick on hold right now, but, you talk about checking your credit. How about we just got a letter from a client from the IRS saying, hey, you didn't report that you had insurance through the marketplace. You need to send us that 1095A. And we asked the person, and they're like, I've been working for New York State for 5 years.
And I don't have insurance.
I don't have insurance. And she goes, how could this happen? And we said, believe it or not, someone could have opened up a health insurance account under your name.
That's right.
That's a growing
That's why
thing.
it's so important. In my opinion, Monday, you ought to get up and say, you know what, I'm going to pull my credit report and take a look at it. And you will be shocked, the stuff that's on there. You would just be shocked. It tells you your marital status, your aliases, if you maybe didn't even know you had an alias. If somebody typed in your name incorrectly, they call it an alias. And there's things that you can do to correct it. And I will tell you, be very careful when somebody calls you on the phone or emails you and it just doesn't look right. Don't open it. Don't talk to them. because they want your information to scam your account. Why don't we go to the phones? I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. And we have Mark from Holland. Hey, Mark, how can we help you?
Hey, how are you? Just a quick question about credit. My credit sucks. I have bankruptcies and everything you could possibly imagine. But now I'm in a better position. What's the quickest way to improve it even more?
Well, based upon the do-it-yourself credit repair step that I got here from a money specialist, one of the best things they say is to, first of all, reduce your debt. So start pay your what you have on time. Reduce your debt. Make sure your payments are on time. Don't cancel older cards that you're using as you get them paid off. Show the bank that you can have credit and that you don't need. Don't apply for a bunch of new credit all at once. And don't apply for credit that you don't need.
But I think if you're beyond that, I think if you're even beyond that, bankruptcy is a really good option.
And that's true.
That's starting all over.
True. But he mentioned he had bankruptcies before, so he should really go back to his bankruptcy attorney and see if he could add these to his existing bankruptcies.
Right.
And sometimes, are you good with the IRS, sir?
For the most part.
Okay, so he doesn't have that kind of a problem, so he can't do an offer in compromise.
Right.
But it really is going to take some time to dig it out. There are some great institutions that are not-for-profits that will help you in reestablishing your credit.
Cross-state funding, it's somebody that we work with all the time, and they, you just approach them and you tell them you want to buy a house, and so they look at your credit and they say, before you go out and look for houses, and they're like, your credit is not so good, and they give you like 15 steps on how to build your credit, and they've been really a great resource, and they do it for no charge, and so I recommend them to a lot of people.
And Mark, do you find yourself being like overwhelmed where you say, this is so big, I just don't want to deal with it?
I've been there previously. Not really right now. I don't really have a lot of debt now. I just have terrible credit.
Okay, and have you pulled your credit report to look at it recently?
Not recently at all.
Because, there could be things on there that you can protest to raise. Do you know what your credit score is now?
No idea.
I'm going to tell you, I would go to Credit Karma and see, I would pull my credit card, my credit report, and I would take a look at what my credit report is saying, and sit down, and you can come into the office. We'd be very happy to help you and go over everything, because there could be things that have been charged off in a bankruptcy that they're still carrying forward on your credit report that would substantially improve the credit report if you would just protest it. So
we'll do that
for no charge. We're very happy to help you.
That's something I'll have to look into then.
All right. Thanks for calling.
Thanks.
I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady from EG Tax, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone, and you can text us at 3930. And
I was going to say another way people can start improving their credit is do a secure credit card.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
It's like a bank account, but they give you put $500 in this account, they'll let you use $500, and then you pay that credit. You pay back. Basically, you pay yourself back, and it helps build up your credit that way too.
But I will bet you that last caller, if he takes, especially if there was a bankruptcy, I bet you there's a lot of debt on his credit report that was probably charged off during the bankruptcy that might be still lingering on the credit credit report. And it becomes so overwhelming that you just think, well, I'll never get this fixed, but it can be fixed.
Right.
Yeah.
I know people that are, I think our president went bankrupt a number of times. There are people that are very successful right now that are that have done very well, and if you knew who they were, you'd think they went bankrupt, because sometimes that's the best course of action that you can do. But it starts off with, I'm going to look at my credit report.
Right.
That's right.
Right? All right, let's go back to the phones, and we got Rick. Hey, Rick, how can we help you?
Thanks, Esther. You guys do a tremendous job. I've used you for about 4 or 5 years, but I have a question. I have an 800 personal credit score.
Well, that's great.
Thanks. I helped a friend of mine out a couple of years ago in business, and I put a substantial amount of money on my corporate card, and I wondered if there's any type of relief for that.
All right, so you're saying that on your you have a corporation,
Yes.
and your corporation has covered for somebody not related to the corporation?
No, he was related.
All right, so is this a shareholder as well?
No, yeah, he actually owns the corporation. I was helping him out financially and helping him to get going.
Okay, so is the corporation paying the debt on these on this card?
No, I had been doing it personally.
Because the corporation can't afford it.
That's correct.
All right, well,
Shouldn't he
there
do
is business
litigation?
bankruptcies,
Shouldn't
you know.
he do litigation?
Well, he could do a Chapter 11 through the
Right.
corporation.
Right, so there are business bankruptcies. Have you talked to an attorney about a business bankruptcy possibility?
I have not. I was because I was minority shareholder. I didn't think that was an. I had like.
Well, obviously, you would want to make sure you can't speak for the corporation unless the shareholder, the major shareholder, stockholder, is in agreement with you. But I would have a come to Jesus meeting with that guy and say, or girl, and say, I'm paying this personally. We should really take a look at a business bankruptcy because that isn't correct at all. So that's what I'd suggest you do, to start there. And again, if you want, if you're a client of ours, just come on in and we'll help to broach the subject with your other shareholder.
All right, I'll absolutely consider that and give you guys a call.
All right, thank you, sir. I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady from EG Tax. We're going to take a short break. 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on your cell phone. Text us at 3930, and we'll be back with your comments and questions on the other side. Hey, I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady, and we're talking about your credit, whether you owe the IRS money and you can't pay and you need an offer in compromise, or whether you owe a bunch of creditors money, or whether you just know your credit score is in the dumper and you just don't know what to do, and so you're doing nothing. We want to help you. And that's what we're talking about. I got Tiffany, Fabian, Christopher, Fabian here in studio, and we have some callers. So let's go to line one, and that's Debbie. Hey, Deb. Hello.
Hi, Esther. How are you?
Good. What can we help you with?
I have a question. I'm calling from my daughter. She's a college student, and she's incurred some college debt, and she has a car loan. And her question is, how can she establish good credit with these loans?
Well, obviously, she wants to make sure that she's paying. Probably the most important thing is look at her credit report, make sure that she's got a clean credit report. Number two, that she pays her bills on time. I mean, that's so important, those timely payments of bills, and that she doesn't start going into a lot of charge card debt.
Yeah, don't
because
start.
I think young people get into this thing where they
I need this,
they got
I
a
need
credit
that.
card, and I do need this, and I need that, and I
Yeah,
need this.
I
and
remember being guilty of that myself when I was younger,
Right. So that's what I'd suggest you. I mean, just teaching her to say no, because all these credit card companies start sending you all these, you're pre-approved, you're pre-approved. You want to start that really good habit right now saying, no, we don't need that. Thanks for calling, Deb.
Credit card does not help you establish good credit then.
What was that?
Credit cards don't help you to
Oh,
establish.
they do. As long as
Pay.
you timely pay,
Yes.
and you're not heavily in debt, like 30, 40,000, you got a $10,000 job and you got $30,000 in credit card.
They help to
look at that.
establish.
Your debt to income ratio is so important. So, but yes, credit cards are very
Yes,
important.
they show
but
that
timely
you-
payment is so important, and you want to make sure her debt to income ratio is that she has more income than she has debt. That's so important.
Great. Well, thank you so
All right,
much.
thanks,
Thank
Deb.
you.
And I would say I know malls are becoming a thing of the past. Don't let her go and open up a department store credit card for every store out there.
That's
'Cause,
right.
you
They're
know.
high interest rates.
That's right.
Yep.
Okay, let's go to line 2. We got John. Hey, John. Hello.
John?
Hello, John.
Going once.
John, maybe John.
Wait, there he is.
Hey, John.
Hi, Esther.
Hey, what's happening?
Well, what's happening is, my credit is, you talk about it being in the toilet. To me, it's in the toilet, and here's why. But I've always had excellent credit, and tier 1 for everything. And unfortunately, now as a product of a divorce, etc., I basically gave the ex-wife the house as part of the settlement. And the wonderful lawyer that was supposed to be taking care of me didn't put language in the divorce agreement to have her taken off of the mortgage. So although the house now belongs to her and all the payments belong to her, she doesn't pay on time, and she's killing my credit. And there's language in the agreement that says I'm to be held harmless. However, my credit score is not being held harmless because I can no longer receive top-tier financing because of her delinquent payments.
Now, have you gone to your attorney to have them take it or take your name off of the mortgage?
Well, yeah, the attorney basically says, and I've talked to several attorneys, that is an acceptable language in the divorce contract is for her, for me just to be quote unquote held harmless. And his question to me is, well, how are you being harmed? And I'm like, well, my credit score is in the.
Right. Well, something I would do for sure is I would pull my credit report and I would send a copy of the divorce decree into the 3 credit bureaus and show them that you are no longer responsible, that this was a marital asset.
Can't she get her own loan now?
Well, that would be something, but right now he could send in something, and I would protest it right away, that you this is no longer your asset, and this is now her asset, and according to the terms of the divorce, you're to be held harmless.
And if you need help, I can help you on Monday or Tuesday.
We'd be very happy to help you. That's the first thing I would do, and that's cheap because you can do it yourself.
And I'll help at no charge.
Okay.
That's
Start off there, John.
Live. I know where you live, and I'm going to find you.
Okay.
I do live there.
All right. Thanks for calling. And line 3, we got Pravin. Hey, Pravin.
Hey, Pravin. Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm good, Pravin. What's you in town?
I'm in town for a change, yeah.
Hey, what can we help you with, Pravin?
I've been a member of Credit Karma for years. It's a free sign-up service. There is no charge. And every time there's a change in my credit situation, I open a new card or something, I get an email. So right. I don't see why people can't sign up for.
But you know what happens, Pravin?
Good
it's just
idea.
like, you're a tax expert. People, when they have credit issues, they don't know what to do, so they do nothing. And so thank you very much for letting us know.
So what Pravin said is once you sign up for Credit Karma, they have your back, and then they'll send you notifications. Somebody opened up a new credit card. So it has other features than, just the simple telling you your score, which is a really good idea.
Okay, thanks for calling, Pravin. Okay, we got Jessica. Hey, Jessica, how can we help you?
Hi.
Hi.
So I just graduated college, and I'm in the deferral period right now.
Yep.
And I'm worried that my credit score is going to get lower just because I just graduated and these loans are all there. Should I start paying in the deferral period to try to make like a comfort pillow, or what is your advice?
Well, I mean,
I don't think it wouldn't hurt you. It doesn't hurt your credit to be in the deferral and not to pay, to start off there. Go on, Esther.
Yeah, but the thing is, you want to get rid. You want to use. You want to pay down that student loan debt as quickly as possible. And if you have the extra money right now while you're still in deferral, any money that you can put on that student loan is going to be beneficial in the long run. So I would certainly do that.
Yeah, I know that, Esther always calls me a professional student, and I'm in the deferral period, and I still every month on the 25th make payments to my student loans. And I think that's good for your credit, that it shows that even though you don't have to pay, you are making payments. And so
I'm going to tell you, Jessica, deferring money that's compounding on the back end may make you feel happy now, but it will not make you feel happy later.
So
I'd pay them down as much as I could.
one follow-up question.
Yeah.
Should I look into refinancing / consolidating my loans into one loan?
You have to.
You can only do that once, right, Tiffany?
Well, she has to look at all the rates. So you have to like run a spreadsheet and look at all the interest rates that you're charging. And consolidating is a good idea. A lot of you can consolidate if they're government loans. So if they're Sallie Mae, if they're Fed loans, you can consolidate them very easily through the FAFSA site. And you want to look at the interest rates and see that you're charging and look at the compound interest and see if it would save you money over the long haul. And it's one payment. And a lot of people are good. It's a good idea for them to consolidate. What do you think, Esther?
Well, again, anytime you should not, obviously you don't want to pay interest that you don't have to pay. All right, that would be number one. So consolidation is good, but the other thing is you want to make sure that you're paying down that principal. So it's not just about, you want to do multiple things. You want to not create any more debt. You want to pay down what you have and then get the lowest payment possible. And if you have any way to pay off those student loans, like for instance, if you have assets that you can sell, you have savings accounts, if you have a mortgage, a home equity in your house that you can put on there, all of those things to get rid of that student loan debt, and the bottom line is going to be the best.
And when
thing
you
for
consolidate, you got to look at the rate that they're giving you, and you got to
That's
make
right.
sure.
And they're looking at rates maybe going down again, so that's
Yep.
another thing. Okay, and let's go finally to Andrew. Quickly, Andrew, how can we help you?
Hello, Esther. I'm trying to buy a house right now, and I don't have much of a good credit. It's not that I have bad credit. I just never tried to get credit. If I don't live outside my means,
right,
and I just buy. If I can't afford it, I don't buy it.
Right, and so you have no credit.
Cross-state funding.
Cross-state funding is really good at helping you get
Call
a
me on Monday.
mortgage.
I can give you
so
the
if you
number.
call Cross-state funding, that's a partner of EG Tax, and they help our clients to get a mortgage. So call Cross-state funding until, and again, if you need any help during the week, you can go to EG Tax at egtax.com. You can call us at our corporate headquarters. You can see we really want to be proactive and help people with their financial situation. So that's what we suggest you do, Andrew, okay?
Yep.
A lot of banks also have first-time home buyer programs, and they're telling us to wrap it up.
Right. All right. I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady. If you want to register for our ABC seminar workshop for college, you can go to our website at egtax.com. Until next week, I'm Esther Gullius with Tiffany Fabian, Christopher Fabian. Thanks for listening. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.